Okay. Well, all right. Okay. So let's. Okay, there. Finally in. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I just had my mute button on
Okay.
accidentally.
Well, I wanted to make sure I had to check. Did mess around thing slowly. The video essay kind of thing that I'm. The video essay about that we talked about a couple weeks back. That kids competition show called Maximum Drive, where they motorcycles and ATV.
Yeah.
I'm not quite halfway through it. There's all the clips and the voiceover. Polish it up, but trying that. See how that does. I'm not expecting it to do amazing, but then again, whenever I think a video or a short or whatever it's not going to do very well, it does.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. It must be the textures, because why why are oats black? At least that's how they look in the.
Um,
Must be a
that
graphical
would
thing
be.
because of the
I
map.
think that's something that goes through the server. Because on my screen they aren't.
Oh, okay. Because like, yeah, it just looks black.
Yeah, I think that's something to some information that's not getting to your computer.
Because at first I thought, oh, are we doing like canola or something? Those seeds are. Well, I suppose you saw it because it's all over social media by now. Chuck Norris died.
Yeah.
86. I guess he had a pretty good.
Yeah.
But I guess I was sort of thinking about it. It's like, he was supposedly a pretty good shape guy, and that. And not like he lived to 100 or end him to 100.
Yeah.
Not that that matters. It just it kind of got to thinking about that. It's like people like exercise and do all that because they and 86 is a long. It's above the average of not like exceptional.
Yeah.
For considering there's people that hit the 100 mark and necessarily live the most healthful. That's why I think it's not bad to try to be as healthy as possible, but you're only going to live however long, you know. It's a little somewhat predetermined.
Yeah.
I guess it's more like he probably, I would assume, had good ability, all that other stuff up until the day. Although that's the thing, it's like you hadn't heard much. Now, of course, I don't follow like celebrities. I hadn't heard anything about him other than jokes. That seemed like a more of a mid 2000s type of a me. Heard much about him. This.
Well, and my sister was saying it actually happened yesterday, but family didn't release the news until today.
Well, you know what? That's kind of good that they were able to sort of hide it and release it the way they wanted rather than somebody. I mean, honestly, at first I kind of thought it was a hoax because I didn't know how old he was. So, I mean, I knew he had to be getting up there, but didn't really know how it was. Again, hadn't heard much about him in a while, just any other. No products he was hawking or anything.
The last thing
endorsing anything. So I thought, oh, that's probably just a hoax.
Well, the last thing I saw him in was him and his wife, and I didn't know it was him at first, but they were on this.
Hey, hang on before you say that. Where are we dumping this? That elevator that's just.
Well, that's why I said. Do you want to take the combine and I'll take that, or?
Well, as long as I know where the point is that elevator just down the road.
No, it's not that elevator. You're not going the right way.
Okay.
You need to go to the left. Well, now it'd be to your right.
Oh.
But the thing is, there's like 4 or 5 different dump stations that way. That's why I'm saying.
Okay, I'll run the combine then, so we make sure, because we're on.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I wanted to run it in this instead of the grain cart because we're close enough to it that I should be able to just run things and.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, the last thing I saw him in it's kind of like I don't know how to describe it, if it was like an infomercial or.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a long time ago, but yeah, he had.
No. This was within this last year. Hold on.
Okay, so he was still.
Hold on. I'm trying to deal with someone on my channel, and then I'll explain. No, it was some kind of like a health thing, and it was him and his wife, and they were talking about all the unhealthiness in all our foods nowadays.
Right.
And I didn't even recognize him at first when I first saw it, and then I don't even know what made me realize it was finally Chuck. I think his name popped up or something, that it was Chuck Norris. and then I completely forgot about it, but I just saw it like 2 weeks ago pop back up again. It's I can't remember the whole commercial, but it was talking about how this whole thing about breakfast being the most important meal of the day is actually not true, and it was all invented by the cereal company.
Well, cereal. Well, actually, the Quaker guy, part of that. Back.
Well, and that's what I think it
Because
kind
he
of
was the one that sort of
was.
invented the cereal. I mean, I've seen documentary things on how breakfast grains were even became a thing. Anyway, yeah.
Anyways, it was a commercial about like that and how unhealthy American food is now because of all the stuff they put in it.
Well, it's been unhealthy as long as he's alive.
Yeah.
You could say. I mean, I watched. I've kind of latched onto a channel. I don't I don't 100% agree with everything the way she presents it. But her what she's saying is based in based around a lot of fact. I do think she picks and chooses it. Think whatever, but a lot of it is our food culture, and of course she picks on common vendors, fast food, yeah, food dyes and all that stuff, and I'm in a general agreement around all that stuff. But yeah, again, like we talked on our last stream, we treat we'll treat ourselves, but like we're not eating it daily or weekly. And I think any of that stuff
unless you have your like own self-sustaining farm to feed you, there's no way to really get away from it either.
Well, right. But I mean, again, you gotta make decisions, but that's the thing. No, we don't how to. I'm saying we as a collective society don't know how to self-sustain ourselves. We rely on a supply chain.
Yeah.
Like me and you grew up where we could go back to the pre-industrial revolution. We'd figure it out. It'd be painful, but we would we would be able to do it. We possess
trial and error.
I mean, we possess just some inherent knowledge that other people would have to maybe Googling or Chat GPTing up the storm. Like, how do you take care of this? How do you this and that and the other? And some of this would be a natural tendency. I hate to say it, but I catch myself exhibiting some somewhat Depression era mentality that just kind of got ingrained from my grandparents to parents. Some of that, a little bit of that reuse or repurpose, or make things last as long as you can. And the trendy terms are like upcycling, that stuff. But it's like, I mean, I know you don't canning. I mean, again, if you had to, you could. Like, you understand it. You had family that did it, and you grew up seeing it. You grew up seeing it, whereas I think a lot of our peers didn't, and then especially younger than us, did not grow up seeing their parents put up preserves or beans or carrots or this and that and the other. I mean, we do it here, not because food poor, but because I enjoy growing it. I also enjoy taste, and I enjoy the process. But if I had to do that, like, as sustenance, I mean, could do it, do it.
Yeah.
Like we're ahead of, and people like us. I'm not saying 100%, right? We grew up seeing how our food, how stuff becomes. We planted seeds, we've raised the cattle. We see how it gets to market.
Yeah.
That's just a thing we take for granted that we know, even though we don't do it in our day-to-day lives anymore. How that works. Been through the process. And which is funny, talking about this subject, is like I watched some that are border on kind of an anti-consumerism type of message they're trying to do. But I kind of watch them because they have some insight into how that other side thinks. Because sometimes I just can't understand, how can you not know this? And these channels are kind of almost like, I just found out about this. That's like, I just thought that was how it is. Like people knew that you can do this if you want. Just the level of participation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, he's not wrong about that, but also it's kind of like gotta make choices. There's compromise. I mean, just like the fact your let's make a sandwich kind of thing. And it's wild to think, but like people just don't, they know how to make a sandwich. But like to you, it's just like, well, that's not good. But people have to think, oh, maybe I'll make a sandwich today. Or like we cook all the time at home. And most people do not do that. That's why these videos I watch centered around this. I sometimes almost can't even relate. It's like, really? People are literally eating out, but I mean, having somebody else prepare their meals almost daily, or they're just buying the convenience stuff, prepackaged this or that, all the time. Yeah, we grew up with TV dinners, but those were for when it's harvest time and it doesn't get dark till after 9 o'clock, and that's when you dumped your last load, and then you come home and and take a shower, and it's like, I'm hungry, and you don't want to cut up, have to cook at 10 o'clock at night. Okay? So you pop in a TV dinner, once or twice during that period. But like people are eating that or stuff like that, like daily. I can't even imagine that. Even when I was single, I cooked, or I made crock pot meals, or I meal planned, food prepped. Not because I had to, because that's all I knew. Just did that growing up. So I could just come home. There's a freezer, my own homemade freezer meal, pop it in, or crock. I mixed the stuff up, had it in the refrigerator, pulled it out, put it on low, and let it cook 8 hours, and come home to 3 days of meals or whatever,
Yeah.
type of thing. And sure, I stopped by not McDonald's, but to use as an example, sure, I'd stop by the McDonald's, Blue Moon. I don't know what kind of, or Sub. Actually, it wasn't McDonald's back then, because $5 foot long Subway. Back when Subway was no, but still a quote fast food. But again, mostly arguably a little healthy. But even then, it's like sometimes you just feel like a greasy hamburger. Dude, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think some people like get into this almost a religious mindset about it's all you gotta organic this, that, and the other, or nothing. A balance.
Yep. Hold on. While you're coming back, I'm gonna go grab some more water.
Okay. Hydrate. That here.
Alright, I'm back.
Let's see, I kind of... Just the Chuck Norris bring up. Heck. So then... Supercross is back. Hopefully you got your picks in.
Yeah, I've had them in for 2 weeks now.
Okay, same here. I basically did them Sunday after that last race, so yeah.
Yep.
And I did good. Well, I did good. You did okay. I did really good,
Yeah.
surprisingly. That was another good race. And I got like, because I did so good, and that, of course I kind of saving up my Rocky Mountain cash or whatever. I got like 17 bucks or like $17.90, almost $18.
Oh, about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, I used my $17 and now I'm back up to $11 again.
Oh, speaking of purchases using those Rocky Mountain dollars, I went with their branded one. Looked, because there was a little bit cheaper. This was a bit bigger. But anyway, it's their water bottle, their plated vacuum, and it's. I've been drinking more water mostly because it holds more. Because my previous bottle was not really a water bottle. It was.
Is it a bottle or is it a water, like a?
Well, it's got a screw. It's got two screw-on tops. The main one, which has the small outlet that you would drink. Now, it doesn't flip up or anything. It's like you could put a lanyard on it and such. It's a 32-ounce bottle, and then that part screws off, and then you can get ice. It's got a big wide mouth for ice, and it'll keep water cold. Like, put good ice in there, and then fill it up. The ice will still be in there almost 24 hours later. But it's because my previous thing was actually a company gift deal, and it wasn't insulated. I just kind of liked it. Fairly large. I'm not sure what the capacity is, but anyway, it was just made for a straw and stuff, and worked okay. But like, I was always having to fill it up, so I would just drink it down, and that's like all I would drink. This is sort of helping that. But also because it keeps the water colder. And I drink more water if I will. I mean, our water out of the tap comes out. I got to remember, like your well water comes out kind of warm, comparatively comes out warm. But I still like it colder than that. Anyway, it's a pretty quality unit. I mean, I've dropped it. It doesn't dent. I mean, I'm sure you can dent. In general handling, it like the smaller ones or cheaper ones. Because I have a travel one. Of course, this does not fit in a cup holder, which doesn't matter to me. House, but if you need something else to buy, that'd be a good gym water bottle, I guess, because of the capacity. But it's larger, so like if your backpack has a stretchy water bottle pocket, it's gonna stretch it to the max. But anyway, it was $19.99, $20, but I'd say worth it. Because after, like, I bought it when I had, like, I don't know, I was worried that mine were gonna expire, so I had like $13 or, got it for like $8 or $9 after even with the shipping. About 10. It's worth. It's worth.
My last purchase from them, it literally happened like this. I woke up one morning and it's like, oh, my get dirty long sleeve shirt is kind of ragged and has holes and I should toss it. And I was like, well, if I get enough money on Rocky Mountain, maybe I can
buy a new long sleeve or
buy a new long sleeve. And yeah, literally like the next day I had enough money. So
yeah. Well, I'm contemplating either wait until after this race posts or just now, because I kind of need to order. I'm working on this motorcycle project, and actually there's some parts I could some couple of OEM parts or.
Okay, so I'm looking at the bottle you're talking about. So I got the insulated tumbler, and that one I really
okay.
like.
Well, okay, so that's the smaller, so it'll actually fit in the cup holder. But like I said, if you wanted I'd call it a good gym bottle or one gonna fish in, or just throw in the truck kind of thing with you, where you want more capacity, and it doesn't leak. You don't have to clamp the lid on for it to seal. That's what I kind of like. But mostly I haven't tried it with anything hot, but
yeah.
But I've been enjoying it, and I guess here's the thing. I'm finicky about water bottles. Like my work has given out gifts of like tumbler style, but smaller ones, like say your morning coffee, whatever. And I got one that's a metal one for water and such that I do drink at work, but I'm not in love with it. They're not terrible, but they are the cheaper end of the spectrum. And then they had them with our logo.
Yeah, that was the big thing, because I've got one from.
And I had like I said, one of the old ones, and I only used it because it was just large. It was large. And rather than getting a glass out of a cupboard, a traditional glass that I'd be filling up all the hills and wanted a better water bottle. Well, the thing is like it was just designed as a straw, and of course it had a smaller bottom, so it would go in a cup holder, but then it flared out the top, so it was kind of top heavy, and you really had to watch falling over and all that, and it caused me not to want to use it except for maybe at mealtime, for water. I was noticing, especially getting into summer, I have a bad habit of not stopping to drink water and get almost a little hydrated, towards the end of the day, and then my muscles are, just all the signs of everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's so you know what that's like when you don't prep well.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping this kind of alleviates this. But I was yet to find a good bottle, and I look at them in the store, and they're kind of expensive for what they are, and then they're just these other not always a great design. Or the capacity. You either get capacity, or it's too big and it doesn't fit anywhere. Like I got a travel one that I like. Kind of has a straw, so you can built in, but you can also tip it and drink it. But the capacity it's fine for like a road trip, but it's not fine for just every day because of having to fit in a typical like cup holder designed for a like a 12-ounce can, aluminum can. It falls over, it tips over. It's always falling off the table. And
Yeah.
So yeah, so kind of a little in a weird way, I'm almost a water bottle snob for that reason. This one so far has ticked the boxes in what I wanted for an everyday water bottle. Other than it doesn't fit in a cup holder. That's beside the point, because I want a water bottle, or a vessel that has water in it that I can just grab. Water will be cold, still cold from when I filled it. Drink off of it throughout the day. I mean, farming and such, we had the big 1 gallon, jugs of Coleman, whatever, sip spout and stuff. That's fine when you're, again, sitting in the tractor. Need that, but, when just around the house, that's not convenient. But anyway, yeah. So I guess looking at that, it's like you can't think of what you want to if you don't want to spend your money on another shirt or something or whatever. That's something worthwhile. The other thing I was gonna spend on, if I couldn't think of, is they got some of those sticker packs assortment. You look. They're a little bit hard to find. You got to go to like the graphics and stuff, but then you got to kind of click the box and sort by like more universal. So you get like the numbers, and then get those sticker sheets. So there's different kinds. Of course, like the sponsory kind of one, Metal Militia, and then there's some of the other saying. I mean, some of you might like old type. Like around $5 to $8. I think it'd be like I bought 1 or 2 of those a long time ago. They're good stickers. They're good decal stickers.
Yeah.
End of the row. I know you're right there. I'll turn around, and I guess if you want to get it unloaded, run to the bathroom quick, and I'll be back and stop it here because I am almost full. So.
Okay.
How's it? 75%. I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, I know. Uh, one thing I was gonna ask you, maybe I asked you this last time, uh, talked, but, have you used ever in the past, like a creatine supplement?
Yeah, before I went before the kidney stone.
Okay.
So I honestly believe that that was part of the cause,
Well,
or a majority of the
I,
cause.
I've read that it's if you're prone to those or it's well, as with everything, possible to overdo. I was reading about it more for just the kind of the brain fog uh, benefits and such, more than maxing the pump or whatever and recovery. But the thing is, you get it from meat and all that stuff, anyways. And like I said, it's the thing. I feel like when I read, it's like, okay, these are gym rats that, well, maybe not even gym rats, but more people that aren't eating like I'm eating and getting like, just eating normal like meat, different meats, chicken, pork, everything, and getting it through more just regular natural. But I've been reading more on the the brain health aspect. I just wondered. But I guess the thing is, it's like I hear it's like, okay, your body stores more water, but it helps me. I am contemplating trying and seeing if I notice thing like that. So more like the brain fog type of. Trying it for probably more like. But I also used to take like ginkgo biloba, which is supposed to be helpful stuff, kind of that increased blood flow.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I really don't supplement. I mean, I do take kind of a vitamin here and there thing when I remember, kind of deal. I probably should regimen. Probably should. Like, I kind of got a little bit of restless leg, I think. I don't know. I don't have a poor diet, so I really don't think I'm super deficient. Kind of goes back to our whole conversation here about stuff. I don't eat fast food all the time. I'm not eating out all the time. We're doing home cooked meals, and most of them are pretty healthy on the whole. We do have our kind of burger and fries night. That's again, maybe every 2 weeks, maybe at the most, twice a month.
I'm on a treadmill.
Yeah, I see that. You know, that is one feature I'm surprised they have not put in the game like this. Like, you could ride along, you know?
They do. It's a mod though.
Well, but that's the
You can
thing.
get
It should
them.
just be part of the core game, you'd think, when you're multiplayer, and if you wanted to, you know? I
Yeah,
mean,
they
they have
they
it, I mean, they obviously, they have it in, you know, like the GTA kind of game. So, um, why wouldn't you here? You know, that'd be perfect for, like, Derek, you know? He doesn't want to actually, you know, work, so he could just ride along, you know? And then see what we're seeing.
Did you see I got my one RC running?
Yes, I did watch. Well, I watched the video you talking about the ESC, and then I
ECX.
saw the uh, uh, getting a little bit of the drive video.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the one running on the new batteries. And that one, I found out like they don't make that one anymore. But on the other side of things, like I said, the one is more like a Temu version, where the other one is more like a Walmart version.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know how much you're really missing anyways on it, but man, I had it running and I was filming last night, and I was like, man, this is awful fun. That's like, I forgot how much fun this was.
Yeah. Well, that's. I mean, like I said, I like the more scale look and all that. But yeah, that's why I'm looking forward to. You know, it's warming up, getting better. I mean, it's fun enough to drive in the backyard, but we have a lot of fun going and walking, going some light hiking trails, and then driving them because it's the right. They go the right pace, and then you find a little place that kind of looks like a little trail that's kind of scaled right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've thought about maybe getting, you know, something more like those that have, you know, suspension travel and speed, but I don't know. I mean, those look fun, but I guess I like the more, I like driving more realistic, I guess, and then the challenge of, and kind of using, because like ours are more like trail vehicles, like you'd have in real life, not really crawlers. So it's fun to see if you how hard of terrain you can get over without obviously having to pick it up or getting stuck and all. Using the hand of God as they, um, um, so trying to drive more realistically. Okay, if this is the real, you're really in the mountains. How would you drive? You know, picking a line. That's why I bought what I bought. And I'm
Well,
thinking about getting Tucker a better one because he about drove the wheels off that. I mean, I've done some upgrades, but he is maybe ready for something with more performance trips. When I've thought about it, easy, showing a little bit of interest, like, well, we'll go and all trip learn how to drive his rail. We can all drive something.
yeah.
Just she can't decide what she wants as far as like a kind of limited overall, unless you want a custom build. And I don't really want to go to all that work. There's a fairly inexpensive, you know, like modern four-door Jeep. Thinking might fit her okay. Because I was going to get her one of those K10 Blazer ones. Kind of like this style. And then the other things are like the Japanese, like Land Cruiser and Rover stuff, which just really isn't kind of our style. They're good, you know. The chassis is similar, basically, so they'll perform similar. You know, if you're going to customize it, something more realistic, like we.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I was like, I just had it out in the backpack, and no real jumps or anything. I was just kind of letting her rip around, and I was like, man, even that was, because one of the things I've been kind of contemplating is like, where do I even go anymore?
Well, of course, those need a little bit more of a flatter an area.
Well, or if you need jumps or whatever.
But
I don't
like,
have...
you know, maybe parks or up north there, isn't there? That's at least a little bit of sort of terrain. Yeah, I guess that's the only thing. The ones that are built more for speed and stuff, you kind of have to have the terrain to make. Well, not.
Well, it's not so much about the speed. It's. I want to jump them. That's the whole thing. I've always been.
Well, you need space. Well, you need space. Yeah, and I guess that's why I gravitated to the crawlers, because you can do things in very tight areas.
I've always been interested in jumping them, and
I guess you got to drive around town, find some dirt piles.
But just having it run up and running, I was like, man, this is like, I haven't done this in a while.
Go find a skate park.
Yeah, I don't think we have them in town.
Well, there's one in there though. So you'd have to bring it to work.
Yeah.
You know, thing you could do after work, whatever.
I guess you don't want to unload.
Oh. Yeah. Well, not that full.
I was waiting to see if he'd notice, and we were like, we're getting almost to the end, and you never noticed.
Here, we'll stop and let it. Yeah, it's only about 50%.
Well, anyways, I found out on the other ones, because I was like, I tried to order a receiver for the one. I wanted to see if I could get it, whatnot. Found out today that they refunded my money. So apparently I'm not getting that receiver. But I think all I need to do with 3 of them is just rewire them over to a different battery. Because they're showing signs that, like, the battery that was with them was just not good. But I think if I had a decent battery on them, I think they would connect and work and everything. So I'm like, I have hope for 4 of them. Yeah, 4 of them.
Yeah.
I'm counting them in my head. Because, like, I got this one running, and then I've got 3 others that I think I can get running if I just had a different battery set up on them. And then I think the last one, it'll just end up being, because this Revolution Forge needed, evidently was in a somewhat of a wreck, because it was missing the rear tower for the body, and the rear bumper was a little damaged, and well, so if I can't get parts for them like I thought I was gonna be able to, then I'm gonna need the donor one. So I think the one that had the burned up battery, I think I'm gonna steal the parts off of it and just junk it out basically. And then I've got to actually, I think it's the right size. I have another RC that has a bad motor, and I think it's the same size. So I think I'm gonna steal the motor out of it too, and then I'm just gonna end up just like scrapping the rest of it. But I don't know, just it was just exciting that I finally got one of them to run after messing around with them. And then on the little one, I've been kind of deciding what I wanted to do with it. I've gone everywhere from just scrapping it to using it with one of these little beatbox ECXs. Well, I found out those little small ones, they evidently had a battery issue. The batteries they put in them weren't very good, and so they don't run. And the one that this little one that I do have, the battery in it has been amazing. Plus, it's got treaded tires on it for the outdoors compared to the foam tires that the ECXs have.
Oh, yeah.
But the ECXs come with, they have trim on the front and the steering and stuff, and they're a lot nicer as far as quality and like that. So I think I'm gonna take the two and put them together and have like a kind of like a ultimate little mini RC.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it. I think I'm gonna try it. Cause these ECXs I bought, these beatboxes I bought on auction. I ended up getting like, I don't know, 10 of them, and I didn't know if they would run or if they wouldn't. Well, I started messing around with this and started thinking about things as like, so I've kind of tested them out and found out that they don't run. And I'm like, man, I was like, I kind of like this handheld one a little bit. So yeah, I think I'm gonna mess around and try and put them together and have that going. I did find somebody on eBay that they went in and replaced the bad batteries with a actual decent aftermarket battery, and rewired it in, and it's like, well, I guess I could do that with all the other ones, but I kind of want to have one of these with the, because they have these foam tires on them, and I don't like that, and that's part of the reason why I was asking you about the rubber PLA.
Yeah. Well, people, I mean, there's files and whatnot already out there. Try and design your own too. But you know, there's a few that you could just download. I've seen. I just tried.
The only thing I have a problem right now with my printer is I have been I can't get it to take the filament to actually print. And I've been working with Reality trying to get it resolved, but
Yeah, I guess I'm not familiar with how it. Mine is, you got to pull this little lever back and shove it in there, and two little tooth ears or whatever will grab it. When, but
Well,
you got to
because
put
I
it in the
thought that.
mode to, and then mine has a mode that you got to put it in first that is for loading the filament, and it's got, of course, got to preheat the nozzle and all that. See,
Well, you gotta remember, I have that one that has the multi.
oh yeah, see, well that's what I'm
See, and
saying. Mine's
that's
basic.
where. So feeds through that part of the machine, but then it doesn't get all the way to the head, and then all of a sudden it stops and it rewinds. And anyways, I've been going around with reality. Not like bad rounds, but we've been going back and forth. Well, did you check this, or have you done this, and
Yeah, I'm not familiar with those kind of setups. I kind of always wondered how it how it gets through the tube first, and then how do you reload? Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a way because they work, but but when it doesn't, I can't help you. Mine is.
Well, I don't think it's the roller part of it. I honestly, and I brought that up to him this morning when I talked to him, because they're overseas, so
Yeah, so it's always a day.
yeah, they send stuff to me at night, and then I wake up the next morning and I've got the next email, and I was like, well, try this or do this. And so what they've been having me do though is I make a video of what I try and say, well, this is what's going on, and then I send them the video. And well, so there's the machine that carries the 4 rolls, and then it feeds the tube into I think I couldn't figure out what it was, but I think today I kind of figured out what it does. So it's got 4 different tube slots on the bottom, and what it does is you can hook up 4 of these roller machines to it, so you can have 12 different rolls to select from. And so this little box is kind of like a merger of sorts. And I told him I think what's going on, and I don't know, I'm waiting for my answer back, because I can take the filament and I can push it all the way in and get it to the head, and then it reads it. So, but it won't. If I let the rollers do it, it won't get it all the way there. Well, I said when I noticed when I was pushing it that it was a little bit harder pushing it through that little merger thing, and I kind of wonder if that part isn't bad.
Yeah, it sounds like there's maybe one little defective part or something. Need to just send you like that, or yeah, I wish I knew more. Don't, and mine is literally.
Well, I flat out
Basic.
I told them I flat out told them in the video this morning, I said, because they were asking me to check this or that. Well, like the one thing I checked, showed them in the video, and the other thing I'm like, I don't even know what part you're talking about, so I can't even check that. And I said, but by the way, I was thinking about this yesterday, and I said this part here, when I hit it with the filament, when I was pushing it through, I noticed that it was really hard to, or it had a lot of resistance to it. And I said it's kind of funny that the roller also pushes through it, and it's maybe about 5 or 6 inches past that, it finally decides that it's not going to push anymore, and it retracts everything. I said, I don't know, because I don't know how this part's supposed to work, but I'm like, to me it just seems like there's an awful lot of resistance here.
Yeah, it almost seems like they need to send you whatever part contains that head, like if it's the full assembly or whatever. And
Well, that's the thing.
have you
If it's
try it.
this part, it's a little 4-inch plastic part that the only thing I would have to have is I would need them to either send me another tube, or I'd have to cut one of the tubes that I do have, and I don't know if I have enough tube to make that work or not. Well, and then they were like, yesterday morning, they were like, well, can you hook up, like, can you just, instead of running the roller machine, can you just put a filament on the single rack and run it that way? And I said, well, I could try that, but I said, I've looked through your videos and there is no way to disconnect this tube from this little box once you inserted it. So if you want to tell me how to do that, then I'd be more than willing to run it the other way.
I mean, it's almost like at this point, they almost like they need to send you a new unit and like get a return label and back, or just have it or something. Maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
I'm like, I'm sitting here like I got this thing and I'm trying to get it to work and I can't do anything.
Yeah.
And then I just go on. I go on Thingiverse and I just kind of like, oh, I want to build that and I want to do this and I want to do that.
Yeah.
I was like, so now I've got a wish list that's like a mile long because I can't build anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's glad they're working with you, but at a certain point, yeah, you should probably ask for, like, well, can you somehow just send me a new machine, or because you have that 4-head design thing, like, well, give me a whole new unit of that has a little roller pusher thingy, whatever. I mean, Creality's a good brand. I think you might have just got a limp. No?
Well, I still think, I don't think it's the machine and I don't think it's a roller. I still think it's that little gray box, and if that's all it really is, I mean, it literally, it can't cost them more than $5 to make that thing.
Yeah, if that's an easy part to replace.
And it can't cost them $5 to ship that thing to me. I mean, like,
well, see, the deal is probably the reason they haven't sent you that is because they really don't have those parts, like, just like, they don't have them in a bin that they can just ship it to you. Because I feel like it doesn't. All these companies, the factories over in China or Taiwan or wherever these come from, you know, they build them and then they ship containers of them into the U.S. and then they just want to ship full units. They don't really have parts to ship you.
But the other thing you gotta kind of remember is, like, I've only been talking to them for 3 days, so they're still trying to.
Oh, okay. I thought it'd been longer than that. Yeah, I guess you got to give them a little.
No, I've been kind of slowly setting this thing up.
But
they're still trying to diagnose the problem. We're not to the point yet where it's like, just send me something.
Yeah. Well, I'd have to look, I think, but I look at the model, because I think it's kind of what I would maybe, because you can run yours can run multiple filaments, might be, again, you get this running, you let me know how it works. But again, I'm a long ways away from placing a printer. Fine, would be nice to do multicolor be able to have the opportunity to do multi-color prints.
Well, now I found out a little bit of videos that popped up because of looking through things and whatnot. I want a dual head 3D printer now.
Yeah, well, I tell you, some of these other YouTubers that do things, Bamboos, they're one of the higher end, or even their entry level models are a little more higher end. There's these ones that have a little bit bigger build plates, or they also have some other attachments, some other things like some light, like laser cutting. Actually, a laser cutter, again, it'd be a tool I wouldn't use a lot, but it would be nice for. Just haven't gotten in the price range. And of course, a place to put it, and it's got to be. It would kind of almost have to be cut and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, well, honestly, like a resin print. Yeah, because it does more detail, smaller. Well, I mean, I can do it too, but for the small stuff, better detail. But it's the hassle with gotta cure afterwards, and there's some post process. That's really why, when I was long before I bought something, I looking at both about what I would do. In a lot of respects, for what done, this was the right choice. When I want to do really small detail parts for, like, say, model building, these have its limits because of the resolution. But again, I've made all kinds of rubber part. After I experimented with EU, made some rubber parts for motorcycles and stuff. More functional stuff, not restoration accurate stuff. Really wasn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you get it going, everything, you'll find all kinds of stuff to
Well, and
do, outside of the trinkets and stuff, especially if you're getting in these RC stuff. Get different filaments like ABS and different stuff that for more strength and stuff. You could print, kind of like for those RCs, you could print your own, suspension parts or things.
well, and see,
like
that's
that.
what with that little RC. That's what I was kind of like. I was kind of thinking is like, do I want to design like a suspension system for it, or do
I've done a bunch for mine. A lot of it's cosmetic, but like, for example, like I just wanted to look more, a little bit more, go the farm truck route, so a headache rack, and I epoxied it onto the bed. But and everybody says, stuff just breaks or blah. Standard PLA is all I'm. But the way I designed it and printed it, everything, it works as a nice little, kind of as a roll bar to somewhat protect a crack in that. So it's the same with bumpers and the trailer hitches and stuff. I've printed, designed and printed. So, trailers and stuff.
That is one thing yet. I still haven't gotten into the like the design software yet, but I'm like, I just want the thing to work because there's a bunch of projects I need to
Well,
do before I
you
start
already know
designing.
how to run the design because you just have to
Well,
export in the STL. I mean,
well, do you just use that the software that you run the plate on? That's what I don't understand.
well, okay, you've designed your model. That,
I know, but that's what I'm asking. What do you design it in?
whatever you want. I mean, whatever
Do you
program
you
want, you just export it into an STL. Now you have to put it in through a slicer, which Creality has its own. You know, they make their own slicing program, and I've heard it's good. I use called Slice 3R, but that is the program that set the printing parameters. It isn't really the design part, but like, I mean, what you could use what you use at work or whatever.
I understand that, but I don't have design software at home. That's what I'm asking.
Oh, well then I would well then because you're familiar with design software that works in 3D and all this stuff, like you know what tools do what. Like I have to teach myself. I would use Fusion 60 because I mean it's there's a lot of free ones out there, but it's probably the best. And then it has a paid version that would open up all the fancy stuff like you have at work. But it's I'm not just guessing because I really don't know how it compares to whatever you work, but it probably is going to be the closest to what you use at work because it's Autodesk. That I could be 100%.
Oh.
But it's one of the other big software companies that makes the professional software that
Well, if it's
you use.
Autodesk that makes it, then it's got to be very similar to Inventor because
I mean,
they don't
I use Tinkercad because it's super easy to use. There's limitations, but like my level of skill, I haven't found it limiting. You would find it limiting because you know how to do things. You've been doing it, but it is and it's a free. It's online too. It's not. It's a. It's kind of like using Microsoft Office, web-based deal, and so it's saving my projects to the cloud. I guess. It's kind of like using Canva, the free. I use that graphic design. Again, it's limited in its free version, but it does enough. But anyway, Tinkercad is Autodesk. When I get this done here, I'll
I gotta run the dog out.
Okay. Well, I'll look it up because I forget who makes it. That's 97%. Where was it? I mean, might have missed a little.
It's because I've got to deliver this load.
Oh, okay. So it's counting what.
Yeah. Are you completely empty or not?
I am completely empty.
Okay. must bump the the volume on my earphones every time I run the dog out, because I come back and then and then
Loud.
yeah.
I'm gonna alt tab out because I can't remember, but it's one that a lot of, like I said, YouTubers, folks on Discord that I was asking, they again there's okay, Fusion 60 Autodesk.
Okay, well then it
So
probably
that so
works
then you yeah.
very similar to Inventor, because they, if they can, they try to keep things similar. Not everything's always the same, but they try to keep everything similar.
I mean, like you can get the Autodesk Fusion. I mean, I don't like that the paid version.
Well, but all CAD software is that.
Well, yes, but there's some open source projects, and I can't think of the that aren't.
Well, because Inventor and SolidWorks are both
Well,
subscription.
yeah, because Adobe screwed all that. Cadoodle or CAD Doodle, another one, but it works. It's more like just offline. And maybe try that just to screw around with something. But here's the thing: I don't know, again, because I don't know enough about this software. I don't know what limited me. For me, it probably just fine. And the other program I have, which I don't use a lot, I don't really know how to use it. Uh, is Mesh Mix, but that is more for like once you made your model, and if it's like hollow, help make it solid, because that's the thing. Whatever you make, you got to make sure it's solid, not not like just the shell. I guess makes sense.
Yeah.
But and that's the other thing with some Tinkercad stuff I found is, like, for some reason, like, somebody made it, they didn't, and you'll find that out when you run it through the slicer and look at the preview how it's going to build. If there's like voids or something that they didn't make solid, we'll have to run it, or again figure out how in the program to make it. So that's one early on. Yeah, and Tinkercad is by, but it's more of a drag and drop, and you configure shapes and then make them as holes to then cut away pieces. So it's kind of like you can't, like, can't, at least I don't know how, you can't like build your objects with like lines and stuff.
Mm.
So in a way, for you knowing how to use a CAD software, it would probably be difficult. Whereas for me,
Actually,
it makes it,
not really, because that is a small portion of what solid modeling
well, I
um
guess here's the thing. I
does.
find
That's not what it all does, but
well, I know
it
that
does it does use shapes sometimes to cut through.
because I can't think. I've heard of other ones to try if this, but I've heard Fusion 360 potentially Like even the free version, like pretty powerful. The home. Oh, on shape. That's that's another. I I don't know. Just down and
I'll probably just use Fusion
I
360, or at
probably
least
would.
try
You'll
it.
be the most familiar with it.
Yeah,
It'll be very similar. I mean,
I would think it would be.
I think they're all kind of the same. Kind of like different paint programs out there. They all kind of work the same. Or again, try Tinkercad. Just it might do all you need to do for right now. I guess what I do like about Tinkercad is because it is web based. Like like on my lunch at work, I can log in and work on a project if I want to. You
Oh,
know, that's kind of the nice part about it. Yeah, I don't know. Well, that's has some. I feel like there's another one though, and it would be. Yeah, I guess like I'm looking like on shape for guessing free version of Autodesk. You couldn't do simulate. Couldn't program scissors.
yeah.
I should mess around with them. Bust off. Because again, the thing I have trouble with is like, okay, gotta with Tinkercad, it's almost hard to make like a trapezoid, okay, or a trapezoidal type of shape. I mean, it's
Mm.
not impossible, but like not that something like that is not, or like you want to make like fillets or something, or kind of you got to use like a cylinder and put it together in there, and I haven't figured out how to turn on like the on screen like ruler or measurements. But again, I've made a lot of things with it too, so I can't knock it.
Yeah.
That's that's what I would. I just get something. Well, while you're waiting for your printer to get fixed, you know what I mean, going back and forth, I would download some or one of these and try messing with, just mess around with. Again, and then get, you know, obviously if you're going to stick their Creality, whatever their, and I'm sure it's just like a cube or a website, Realities. See, mine is any cubic, and I don't think they had their own slicing software, so they'll just use anybody's, and it does. And like I said, the one I got recommend somebody in a 3D and to understand what things were. So
Well, I've got. I should